Hello, good morning, everyone. Let me do a quick mic check because I'm using a different setup. Uh, and I just shifted houses a couple of days ago, and it's raining, and I think it should be fine. Let me see. I just okay, okay, it's not bad. All right, there is a lot of background noise, and usually I'll try and fix it by tomorrow or the next episode because our last episode was 11 days ago. Right, and today what I want to talk about is microcopy. Right, so what is microcopy and why should you care about it? Right, so let's see quick examples of what is a microcopy. I'm gonna just go to Amazon.com. Right, so what do you see in terms of labels for menus is microcopy. Health, household, and personal care. Why somebody has chosen these specific words to communicate what they wanted to communicate, right? And how does the user interpret it? Right? And it says again here clearance store, Amazon fashion. So Amazon fashion is more of a brand now rather than a microcopy, but clearance store is probably, at least as of now, this is the first time I'm saying it. I'm assuming it's not a brand and more of a microcopy. Right now, again, the same thing goes for now. India will say bought it on Amazon. I don't know what this means. So that's also another microcopy, right? So what constitutes then? What do we? If everything is microcopy, then is the entire application only made of microcopy? Right? I think I should count how many times I'm saying microcopy in this episode. So anything that is less than two sentences, right? I don't know what is the official definition, uh, but I'm going to say anything that is less than two sentences, two full sentences, is a microcopy, right? And if we go to, let's say, YouTube, for example, right? Again, all of the labels that you see here falls under microcopy, and all the categories that they have defined here falls under microcopy. And even the title, even though it is user generated, you can consider them as microcopy. And similarly, I found examples for user generated microcopy in LinkedIn as well. Right? It is whatever you see just below the profile, right, or just below the person's name. It says hiring best talents, deliver innovative products to the world. Right, so that's also microcopy, but it is left to the user to write it. Right, so here it says founder at shape. Now it immediately helps you understand uh, or get some idea about who this person is, right? And if I keep scrolling, which is Emilia Varasian, it's I hope I'm not butchering the pronunciation. It says recruiter, right? And instantly, if she is a recruiter, and if you are looking for a job, you just reach out to her, right? And again, it says Pranit Pawar commented on this. It also tells you why you are seeing this particular, why I am seeing this particular post because I'm not connected to Emilia, right? And again, when I come down, they've also decided to put the title or the profile title or whatever they are calling it on LinkedIn, just below the name again. It's the same thing, right? Your name, what is the degree of connection? Is the first degree, second degree? I don't know if they're calling it a degree, but yeah. And then what is their profile title? And of course, their comment. And again, comments you can take a judgment call and decide for yourselves whether that falls under MC category. I'm going to stop saying microcopy and just call it MC because I feel kind of weird repeating microcopy multiple times. All right. Okay. Whoa. What is this? Oh, okay. So this is someone has someone had done something I think a while ago. Um, yeah, this is a big news in design community. I'll slightly digress for a second. Adobe is buying Figma, right? Which kind of makes me feel sad. I feel like Figma might lose its freedom to continue to innovate and take it in the same direction as it has done in the past. That's my only concern. And the other concern is, of course, the pricing. You have to pay maybe 4 or 5 times of what you are paying right now, or maybe not 4 or 5 times, at least twice the amount that you are paying right now for Figma. And of course, the argument will be you will have the entire Adobe suite, but I don't need the entire Adobe suite. Right, I just need just Figma. And for many, that is the case. And of course, you can say Creative Cloud. Here, I use Adobe Suite like maybe once in a month or maybe once in 2 months. In fact, I was thinking I maybe will cancel the Adobe subscription that I have. Anyway, coming back to the MC topic. Right, again, all of the titles that you see here, Bangalore, Karnataka, India, they all fall under MC. Right, and here it says the profile heading says Meta for Business. Again, that's a brand and that's the content or text that they have adopted. Right, and again, it says how many followers they have and whether it is a promoted post or you're seeing this because of something else. Right, again, if let's say Aman is my first degree contact and he posted, I'm going to use gender neutral terms and they posted something. I would just see Aman Mulani and first, right? I wouldn't see Imran Solanki celebrates this. Um, cool. So now we know what is MC and why should you care about MC, right? And for that, I want to take up some bad examples so that I can demonstrate what is the impact that it can create, right? So let's see, if we are able to find something on Dribble. Why would you like to go on a dating, right? And of course, um, I don't want to be judgmental without understanding the context, but let's say this uh, find it's animating and moving constantly. Let's pick a different one. Portfolio rebalancing. Of course, Gleb is someone I look up to. His designs are amazing. I'm sure if you are active on Dribble, you probably come across his works. They're just mind blowing. So now, confidentially, I don't know what that means, right? And it says bank assets. And maybe when I know what this application is, or maybe if I had some type of training when I'm onboarded to the application, right, the in-app training that they generally give you, right, this is what the screen means, this is what the screen means, and this is where you find this is where you will find that, and so on. Maybe if I had some training like that, maybe I'll know what does this mean, right? But out of the box, I'm not able to understand, and it says proceed, and I don't understand what proceed with what, right? And then again, expected return with rebalancing, expected return before rebalancing. So this is again a classic example, right? I am assuming reading from this what is the before and after? And maybe a simpler way to do this is expected return after rebalancing instead of writing with rebalancing. And maybe say expected return before rebalancing. Maybe there is some regulatory aspect to it. Maybe they cannot say, this is what you will get after you rebalance. I'm just thinking out loud and playing their side. Right. So yeah, those are some of the reasons, some of the ways how it can confuse a user if there isn't enough. context or enough training on something. Let's see a good example, right? And again, what I'm going to do is I'm going to say, okay, yeah, this is something that I've been looking at today to see if I want to purchase, and we'll see if there is any good content here. So this, it says usually dispatched in 3 to 4 days, and it also says when will I get it. Right. So it says, okay, today is 16th September, and it'll take me roughly a month to get this book if I order it. But they're also saying it is dispatched in 3 to 4 days, which my guess here is they tested this copy with some of the products before they introduced this particular line of text, right? And they tested how many times users are adding something to the cart when they show something like this, and how many times somebody is buying now, clicking on buy now, and then actually going through the checkout process and actually placing the order. And then again, how many people are adding to wish list, and then when you don't show this particular text, how many people are clicking on this, and what is the delta, what is the difference between these two setups. And because this is shown now across all products, my assumption is that the difference between showing this and not showing this, the conversion rate is probably significant, even if it is 3 or 4 percentage, or even if it is 2 percentage. It's huge given Amazon's scale. Let's say every day there are maybe 20 million orders placed on Amazon. Now that sounds really exaggerated, but I'm sure it's very close, or maybe even lesser than the actual numbers. And if you take 2 percentage of $20 million, it's 2 million, sorry, 200,000 additional orders, right? I hope I'm not wrong. So yeah, that's very significant in terms of hard numbers, right? But maybe not very significant when you see it in terms of percentage. But yeah, the point here is this is how you can test whether some microcopy can influence users to convert, right? Or can influence your users from a business perspective, or even from the user's perspective itself, right? Let's say there are some 6, 7 steps, and your users are dropping out at, let's say, fourth or fifth step. It's the task that they want to complete, not necessarily, that helps get you more business. Even in those cases, you can see if introducing any contextual copy helps them complete or go through the 6 or 7 steps that they have to complete a task or complete a goal, right? So that's a good example, right, of a micro copy. And again, sold and fulfilled by infinite books. Again, I think whenever it is sold and fulfilled by Amazon, I'm sure the conversion rate is much higher. And again, usually, I see Kindle version for almost all the books. I'm a little sad that this does not have a Kindle version. It's probably because now O'Reilly has their own ebook subscription service, and they don't want to publish this in Kindle, right? And they would rather drive the traffic via their own service, own ebook service. And that's just a guess, right? Maybe there are some O'Reilly books that are still available as Kindle. So I just clicked on the on this user story mapping, and let me go back. Um, I should not go back. Yeah. So I frequently bought together section. I clicked on this user story mapping, and now they have a Kindle edition, right? And they also have an audio book, and it's interesting. They are saying audio book instead of audible, and that's a sure a conscious choice made by someone between showing audible here and showing audio book here. And I'm sure there is some experiment that was done to determine which one to choose. I'm definitely going to talk about these experiments in one of the episodes and how it can be very, very effective, and how you can do experiments without even making any changes to your code, right? Especially when it comes to content like this. So that's another good example, an interesting choice that they have made, right? Instead of showing it as an audiobook, sorry, instead of showing it, just calling it out as audible book, they're calling it as an audiobook. And here again, it's interesting, right? It says Kindle edition. It doesn't say ebook, right? And that's a difference that is right next to each other. And again, these are all again examples of more microcopy listening length. If you are buying the audiobook, and I think if you are clicking on Kindle edition, let's see what they show. They're just showing, okay, ISBN. Do they show the number of pages? They don't, which is interesting. It just says file size. Maybe this is important for people who have limited device space. And it's interesting they are showing it in KB. I think 13,604 KB will roughly translate to 13 or 12 MB. Um, just not a lot. Maybe again, same thing. Maybe they never tested it with MB and GB. Maybe it never mattered. Or maybe they tried it by showing MB and KB, and there was no difference in terms of whether somebody purchased it based on the size of the book, right? Maybe I mean, kind of things like this will even save you development time if you have your um, text set up in the right way. Let's say this is plain text and there is no conversion needed in your database, and you just change for a bunch of things directly in the database from KB to MB. I'm just thinking out loud. Maybe it's not a good idea from a technical standpoint, but let's just think out loud for a second, right? And they showed probably for a small percentage of users, or maybe even they just made a small change in the front end code. And it, for a small percentage of users, they converted KB into MB or maybe even GB, right? And they did not probably see any difference. Right? So all of these choices, even though they're so in the background, somebody had made a conscious choice in using the words that you see here, right? And again, this instead of saying publisher, they can maybe say published by, right? That's pretty much that's the same thing. But maybe publisher is more of a standardized term. That's why they are going ahead with that. And let's see what they have in the author's page. Okay, it says follow the author to get. Okay, it says follow, and it's interesting. They're also explaining you why you should follow someone, right? And let's read this. Follow the author to get new release updates, and improved recommendations. Okay, I've never personally used this feature, but I like Jake Knapp and John Zaretsky. They are the authors of the Sprint book, um, which I like. I have myself conducted a couple of design sprints. It's a very tricky process. If you don't know what you're doing, you can end up spending, or you can end up wasting a lot of time. Right, so not just your time, but everyone's time. But yeah, back we did a series on how to conduct a sprint and what are the activities in a design sprint. When I say sprint in this context, I'm talking about the design sprint, which is a week-long activity. Each day has a prescribed set of activities that you can do, through the course of a week to solve a problem. Right. So anyway, coming back to MC. Now that's pretty much everything that I wanted to talk about in um, today's episode, and I'm a little groggy and not my usual cheery self, and I'm sorry about that. I just noticed in my own live stream because I've not had good sleep for the last couple of days because I've been shifting houses. Right, so from tomorrow, I'll be back with my full energy and we will talk more about different topics. All right, and then I'll see you guys.